Hello, hello, hello. Good to see you. You get fairy dust. I get fairy dust. Little Amelie gets fairy dust. She decided to move from the chair to my feet. What a little cutie. Okay. I have a question for Ask an Advanced Bitch. That's me. Here we go. I remember you talking about toxic people who use I need space as a weapon and how needing space is valid, but advanced bitches take the space we need and offer communication. I have a friend whose partner just ghosted and then accused her of smothering. And I really wanted to share the content, but I couldn't hunt it down. And who knows where I've said that? Who knows? But I think it's nice to revisit it because I think people still use the phrase. So the taking of space is literally no problem. We get to do that. We are humans. We get to have autonomy. We get to have separation. We get to have our turn. We get to have our solitude. We get to have our time away. We get to have that. That is my point about I need space is that in our culture, it's triggering language. It just saying it like that is triggering because immediately, I mean, it's code for I'm tired of being around you. I don't want to be around you because they're not saying they're going to a mountain. Like they don't need space from their job. They don't need space from their dog. They don't need space from their parents or whatever. But it's like, but to say the language of I need space is a button. It is a it in our culture, it is a phrase. There's certain phrases that like that I just would never ever use because it just because one thing that an advanced bitch is really good at is I know, and I'm teaching you, I know how to say things in such a way that it doesn't necessarily rile up the other person's defenses. And that's because I actually want to have a conversation. I want to talk, I want to connect. One other phrase that I learned that is immediately the person isn't going, it's not an even exchange anymore, is the term family meeting. Whenever when my kids lived with me growing up and we would have a family meeting, every single person, including me, was on the defense. We were all being just defensive versus if I just said, hey, can I talk to you about this homework thing? Or can I talk to you about this? We're going to go on vacation. Do y'all want to talk about it? Versus saying something like that or whatever it is, but saying, oh, we're having a family meeting. Like, it's not going to go well. It's not going to go well. In my experience, some people, they have, and that's probably because we fucked it up, me and my husband fucked it up. But, so I'm imagining there might be a family where a family meeting is like exciting because, you know, because of the way that it's done. But in my family meeting was like, oh, let's fight. Let's fight. And another one is, I have something I need to talk to you about. Just talk to me about it. Don't tell me you have something to talk. I mean, I'm immediately nervous. Okay, so my husband this happened like within the last 6 months or something. Like I made him something food wise, and like a day later, he goes, um, I have some feedback. Okay. Immediately defensive. Like, what the fuck is this? He's never talked to me like this before. What the fuck are you saying? It was like, I don't like it that well done, or I don't like that, whatever it is. And I'm just like, please never use that language with me again. Please never say, I have feedback for you. It's like, bitch, if you have feedback for me, just give me the feedback. This is really good. This is really thoughtful of you. Would you mind cooking it a little bit longer, or would you mind not cooking it as long? Like that's great. Yeah, I want to know this. I want to please him. I want to take care of him. Just like if he does something, I want him to do it in a way that pleases me. Like if I'm doing him a favor, I want it to actually be a favor and not something like, "Bleh," right? So this is great. This is great. He does things for me. I do things for him. But to say, I have some feedback. Okay. I'm so sorry, sir. This is not my annual review. I have feedback. Are you joking? Um, so anyway, I'm not opposed to feedback. We want feedback. That's what we want. It's using of the language. I have some feedback. I'm like, I'm never speaking to you again. Um, and so, and the reason I'm thinking of it is just I made some cookies this weekend for him, and he loves them crispy, and they weren't crispy enough, or they were fine. I made them crispy, but he was like, could we make them a little bit more crispy? And I was like, yeah, I was just afraid of burning them, so totally, I'll do that. And then he was laughing while he's like, oh my God, did I just give you some feedback? And I'm like, yeah, but it was great because you didn't tell me you were about to give me feedback. Because to people who have trauma responses, these phrases in our culture, like it's immediately panic attack. It's immediately I'm not listening. It's immediately I'm triggered. It's immediately like we're not going to have a good conversation as if you had just given me the feedback. Anyway, you get it. So that's my point about I need space. The other thing about specifically I need space, it's like, great. Why are you telling me this? Like, why is it my job to give you space? You take your space. It's giving acquiescing of power. It's giving, mommy, I need space. It's like, take your fucking space. Take your space. No one's trying to not take your space. So, take it. You don't need to tell me that you're taking it. So if I needed space, I would say, like, let's say, I have a ritual of being on my Instagram stories every day. And so I didn't get on there one day and say, I need space. I did need space. I got on there and say, I have COVID and my brain isn't working. I didn't say can you fucking imagine? Like disgusting. So I just said, I have COVID. I do not feel well. But here's a joke I found off the internet, like, or here's a quote I like, or whatever. So I was still doing my habit, but I needed space because I had COVID. And so I couldn't show up. I couldn't share in the connection like I normally do. And so that's the shit that you say. Would it be okay? Like this next weekend, I'm gonna like just hang around so let's say you're dating and you each have your own apartments. Are you good if like the next I take a couple of introvert weekends, or I've got to read this stuff, or da 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 da. I need space is just to me it just makes me feel something else is going on, because also it's like it's like, again, it's like I need space. Okay. Like if I said I need lunch, you're like, okay, go get your lunch. Like, why are you telling me this? Um, I need a hat. That's great. I'm excited for you. Go get it. Why are you telling me this? I don't do you go do that. Um, and so anyway, that kind of talk is it. I always just wonder like what's behind it. And that's the first thing, like, what have I done? Have I done something wrong? Have I da? And and so in your particular situation, and so you got ghosted. And so, okay, well, now we know this person is a person that will just disappear. Okay, now we know that. Great. That's part of this person's dynamic. Um, but then once he got back in touch and like, why did you ghost me? Then he says something about you're smothering me. And again, I mean, it could be, it could not be. Who knows? And also everybody's definition of smothering is different. But he, when you say somebody's smothering you, once again, you're not you don't have agency. You're telling somebody else that they smothered you. I find that to be very shamey and gross and not nice or helpful, whether it's true or not. But once again, it's like, if I say to you, you're smothering me, first of all, no fucking person has the power to smother me. No, nobody has that power. I have the power. And so if I'm saying you're smothering me, I'm also saying I'm not really good at setting my own boundaries. I'm not good at setting the boundaries. I'm not, I haven't, and also it's probably, there probably in there was a bait and switch of like, I love being around you and this is great and this is great. It's like, oh, you're smothering me. Okay, okay. It's also shades of anxious attachment. No, 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 no. Avoidant attachment. It's like, let me use this shaming thing about you're smothering me. And that's very violent. That like smother, like you're making it so I can't breathe. Okay, what are you doing to put yourself in this position that you wouldn't set a boundary the first time you felt out of breath, or the first time you felt emotionally smothered? You could have said, "Oh, I don't like that. I need more independence. I need more agency. I need more this or that." Like, I need space from my husband. Um, I take it. Like, I'm a morning person. That is my quiet time. That is my solitude. 10 out of 10. And then I also married an introvert. So he has his quiet time in the night and I'm in bed. So it works out beautifully, but we're not telling each other like I need space. Um, and so yeah, so I would go, I'm just curious. So it's just shamey language. It's very dismissive and it's very it to me it's just loaded language that's meant to hurt and meant to embarrass and meant to shame, like that your friend did something wrong by smothering that person. And so the only time you ever want to look at something like that for yourself, if you've heard this more than once in your life, then maybe it's like if I've heard that in all my relationships, like, oh, you're smart, I would be like, oh, maybe I need to look at that. What am I doing? Like, am I chasing too much? What am I doing? So, but it doesn't sound like that's the case. So I just look at so like you're shaming me. First of all, it's a you statement. Or even if he said I felt smothered, um, okay. And then what do you do when you feel smothered? You set a boundary. You take your space. You say, I don't like that, or that's not me, or I don't want to spend this much time. So, but notice there was really no accountability for his part of it. And so now you have, and so for me, the way that I look at things like this is that it's not a red flag. I mean, it is. It's not a red flag that he said I need space. I mean, it's icky, whatever. If, to me, it would be, but it's not, and it's also not a red flag. I mean, forget it. It's just questionable behavior. So for me, I know that red flags are not red flags. Red flags are crystal balls. So what you can know about this person is that if you continue to be with him, you're probably going to get ghosted again. And you're probably going to be told that you're doing too much, or you're smothering, or you're too needy, or something along those lines. And it's like, if that's the case, then I would have expected all along, like to give feedback, like, oh, when you asked me to spend the night like 4 nights in a row, that's too much for me. Like I do need my solitude, my quiet time, or whatever. And notice how that feels different than saying I need my space. Um, so along the line, and so there weren't really good boundaries on the other person's part would you ever let yourself get smothered? Like that means you can't breathe anymore. Like what would I be doing to put myself in a position to be smothered? Like, so what I'm saying is it's like we attract each other at a level of mental health, and it doesn't surprise me that somebody who might be more fawn like or more, more anxious attachment would attract somebody who's more avoidant attachment and who's somebody who would ghost, right? So we attract each other at a level of mental health. But what I would know about this person beyond a shadow of a doubt, regardless of what happens in the future of the relationship, is I will be ghosted. And it might not be ghosted in like not in touch anymore, but there might be an occasion where we have a date and I can't reach you. Something like that. Like that, it is going to happen again because the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. And so, and I have the ladder of trust. So it's like, oh, we've been climbing it together. We've been having fun. And then we get to this point and you say that I need space. Oh, weird. What? Okay. Okay. So that he's probably going to say that again. If it worked, it could be hurtful, or it could just be that's the only thing that he knows how to say. And it's a way to make somebody in a relationship feel like shit. But anyway, so, but in the future, you will get ghosted and you will get called something along those lines in any kind of those smothering words, or you're too, overwhelming, or you're too much, or you're too da 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 da. So, that's yeah. So I'm sorry that happened. That's kind of icky. I don't like that. But I do think it's so like we can be trained to take in this information as for ourselves and not really understand and not deconstruct a person who says they need space. Why don't they have enough agency to take it? I tell no one I need space, but I take a ton of space all the time. You know? So, anyway, I hope that's helpful. And if you have any more questions or any more, like things that are going on or things that were said or done that you want like me to shine a little flashlight on, please do not hesitate to ask. I love answering these questions. I hope that's helpful. Love you. Bye.